Welcome, welcome. You're listening to 360 Info. I'm your host, Antonio. To manipulate history is to manipulate consciousness. And to manipulate consciousness is to manipulate possibilities. And to manipulate possibilities is to manipulate power. Welcome, welcome to the show. Got a great show for you today. And I like to take this time out to thank all our listeners out there who's been following us for over the years. It's been plenty of years we've been doing this. And, I just want to take this time to thank you for tuning in, staying with us, coming out to some of our events that we've been promoting. It's just a pleasure to keep doing this. And, I like, bringing forth good information that you can use. That's what it's all about. We got a sunny day today, a good day for us today. We got a great show for you. In the remote studio, we got our main man, brother Vince Robinson. Vince, what's going on?
Well, I checked the weather today, and it looks like we're going to have about a week without rain. But you know how it is in Cleveland. Wait 20 minutes, and it may change. But we're going to keep our fingers crossed and hope that we have a nice end to the summer. Typically, summer ends around Labor Day, so we'll see how that goes. And I just wanted to take this opportunity to remind our listeners, if you're listening to us on the radio, you can also catch us live on Facebook and YouTube. I have a YouTube channel that bears my name. Brother Hamtonio has a YouTube channel. It is The Journey with Hamtonio. You can go to both of those YouTube channels, like and subscribe to the channel, and you can see as well as listen to our broadcast. Of course, if you're out and about and you can't look at a screen, you can always tune in to the radio and listen to us on AM 1490 WERE. We have a great show lined up for you today, as Brother Hamtonio said. Our guest this morning is Brother Jesse Ruffin Jr., and he is I guess, the architect of a very important initiative. It is a petition that calls for adequate staffing in nursing homes. He has a story that involves his wife, Carolyn. The petition initiative is named for her. It is Carolyn's Law, and we're going to give him an opportunity to tell us all about that. We'll also share the website with you so that you can go to that website. There is a plethora of videos that have been produced that will give you information, but we're going to talk about those things today. So, Jesse, welcome to 360 Info Network.
Good morning, and thank you for inviting me.
All right. Well, you have such a compelling story. I have actually talked to you on another occasion on another radio station, but I saw you a few weeks ago, and it just reminded me that this is something that needs to be in the headspace of the public. So let's dive into it and tell us exactly what happened and what your plans are to do something about what you experienced.
Well, thank you, Vince. I would like to start out by giving basically a summary of what created the situation for me to get involved. I I was married to Carolyn Laverne Ruffin for 44 years, and it came to a point where she had to have brain surgery, where she had a tumor, and had to be removed. Now, the brain surgery was successful. Um, they were able to remove it. It wasn't cancerous or nothing. However, when she went to a rehabilitation facility for after the surgery, within 10 days of her being there, somehow she ended up falling on her head, and we still don't know all the facts about how it happened. But the fact is, it shouldn't have never happened. And because of that, I didn't have very much confidence, Vince, in the facility. So obviously, I took her away from that place, and then we went to several other places because I was looking for better service. So I had an agreement with each facility that I went to that if my wife came here, it would be only if I could be there also 24/7. And what I mean by that, I stayed there every night with her and mostly all day, except for the times I had to go and take care of some business. But the bottom line is, I found that nurses and nurse aides was taking care of as many as 25, 30, 40 patients. And sometimes, if for some reason someone didn't show up, they could be taking care of as many as 50. And that just didn't make sense to me. And I talked to the administrators and things of that nature, and all we heard was crickets. So for 3.5 years, while she was in and out of different rehabilitation facilities, I took notes and I kept trying to get information on how I could, make a difference in this situation. And the nurses and nurse aides were, a lot of times we became pretty close because I was there every day and at night. And we prayed together, and sometimes we even cried together because I saw the agony that some of those girls and guys was actually suffering trying to do this. And they were asking, Mr. Ruffin, would you talk to the administration so we can get some help? Well, if they did too much talking, then they would come up missing. They'll lose the job. So, long story short, I started doing research and talking to doctors, nurses, nurse aides, nurse practitioners, and we started having meetings at different libraries in different communities so the general public could give their input in order to help us establish a petition. And after talking with the attorneys that we got involved with, there were a couple of ways we could have done this. It could have went through the legislative system where one of the legislators could have presented it, but it was our understanding that if that was the case, when they have a general assembly, it could be modified and changed. But then they introduced us to the amendment process, which is to amend to the Constitution. And they said once that is established, it cannot be modified. And so, because of the fact that we knew it could be modified if we did it the other way, and we wanted to make sure it was only about this issue, that's why we presented it to the Attorney General as a amendment to the Constitution, and the purpose by initiative petition. And this is to be submitted directly to the electors so that the people in the state of Ohio would have a voice on this issue. Basically, that's what, when we did these different meetings at the library, people wanted it to be by them and not by the legislators. So we established that amendment titled Nursing Facility Patients Bill of Rights, known as Carolyn's Law. So we simplified it as Carolyn's Law because it's easy to remember, and it was to honor my wife. So when we got close to the time when we knew that she wasn't going to make it, I promised her that I didn't know what we were going to do, but we were going to do something to try and, help other people. And with the spirit of my wife, she always was so kind to everyone, and she always tried to, help people. And I just thought it would be a wonderful blessing for her legacy that we would name it after her, and we would fight to make sure that no one else that goes into a nursing home would have to be in a situation where the nurses or nurse aides is taking care of 25, 30, 40 patients. And that's why you have these injuries. Sometimes medication could be given wrong. There's all kinds of things that could happen. But we found that after talking with the Medicaid and Medicare, that this would help them uh, in cost because it would alleviate accidents, it would alleviate lawsuits, it would alleviate people dying because The bottom line is a lot of folks have died. And when the COVID situation came out, when no one was able to go in and see their loved ones, it really blossomed to what it really is. And it kind of became a situation where people could actually get that attention. But the bottom line is what we wanted to accomplish has been accomplished. Far as for the Attorney General has certified the petition, and the Ohio Ballot Board has approved the petition for us to go out and get signatures from 88 counties in the state of Ohio. Now, by law, we're only required to go into 44 counties to get those signatures. But I feel that something that this important that we should go to all 88 counties, and that's what we've done. We have signatures in over 72 counties. We don't have them all at this point, but now we're in a situation where it has gotten so expensive for us to do this that we have to start fundraisers. I thought it could be done simply by investing, personally, but it's more expensive than what we imagined it would be. So on so on June 30th of 2021, it was certified by the Attorney General, and on July 14th of 2021, it was approved by the Ohio Ballot Board, and we went out and we started getting signatures. But here's the kicker. We did research and found out that 30 to 40% of the signatures that come in could be thrown out. And why would that happen? Well, if a person moves and doesn't change their address, that would throw out the signature. If you change your name, and for marriage, that would throw out the signature. If you didn't sign the petition the same way you signed your registration, they could throw that out because the signatures didn't match. And I felt that was really a problem because I write my signature and it's different just about every other day. Some people write their signatures different than they did 20 years or 10 years ago. Bottom line is, we had to get involved with 450,000 signatures to submit to get it to the ballot. So the formula was established to do double. So now we have to get 900,000 signatures so we can go through that 30 or 40% threshold. So if we get that many and they throw out 20, 30, 40%, we still get the signatures that we need. So that's basically where we are now. We're trying to get fundraisers. We're trying to get people involved. We have to pay for locations. For an example, if we're in 88 counties of the state, we have to have a location, several locations in each county, so people could come and sign the petition and get information on it. Up until now, we've been in county fairs. We've been at the IX Center. We've done, our group we've received over 45,000 signatures just ourselves, and we have other individuals in the county trying to help. But it's been a lot longer process than we anticipated. And what we want the people to know is that Carolyn's Law is going to end up on the ballot. It may not get there, it can't get there in November because we had to have enough signatures by June of this year. But it is a good possibility that we can get this on the ballot in May of next year if we get those signatures between now and January. I think it's January 30th. We have to have those signatures in order to be on the ballot in May, because it's 120 days, I think, that you have to have those signatures in order to give them time to count the signatures. So that's basically how we got started. So, if you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them. And if I don't know, I'll tell you I don't know. I can't hear you, Vic.
Are you saying that you need 900,000 signatures?
We have to get, we only required to get 450,000 signatures. That's what we need to get it on the ballot. But because
Right. But
of
you,
the fact that they throw out 30 to 40%, we have to double that amount so we can come into that threshold. And
okay, I
900,000 is
got you.
our target.
Right. So I just want to dive a little bit into what you are proposing as a nursing facilities patients bill of rights. Of course, we're understanding that there's understaffing in the nursing facilities. Can you talk about what some of those other things that might need to be addressed could be?
Well, if you go to the website, um, we have the complete petition on the website, and it does explain all the other things we're in. But the bottom line is we're trying to get um, long-term proposal ratios, one nurse to 8 patients, as opposed to 30 or 40. Now that's under normal conditions based on their acuity. If it's more severe, like in my wife's case, a nurse or a nurse aide shouldn't have more than 5 patients. Um, 1 to 20 is basically an average what we saw, but it could be 30 or 40 or 50. There's no limit, and that's what we're trying to do now. Excuse me, but we're trying to establish. Well, I'll read one section here that is very important um, in the petition. It says that in skilled nursing facilities and regardless of daily patient census, there should be at least one licensed nurse on duty at any time for every 5 patients with higher medical acuity needs, at least one certified nurse uh, or nurse aide on duty at any time for every 6 patients with higher medical acuity needs, and at least one nurse uh, and one certified nurse aide on duty at any time for every 8 patients with lower medical acuity needs. Where it goes on to explain that in each nursing facility, except for skilled nursing facilities and regardless of daily patient census, there shall be there shall be at least one licensed nurse and one certified nurse aide on duty at any time for every 8 patients with higher medical acuity needs, and at least one licensed nurse and one certified nurse aide on duty for at any time for every 10 patients with lower medical acuity needs. Um, and it
Yeah,
goes
see,
on.
I just want to interrupt you for a second.
Sure,
Please pardon the interruption, but
no
I
problem.
just want people to understand why it is so necessary to have that proper staffing. And I can just share what happened in my own particular family. My father had Parkinson's disease as a result of exposure when he was involved in the Vietnam War. Uh, Several years later, decades later, maybe 4, 5 decades later, he became afflicted with Parkinson's disease, and he was in the VA hospital, both here in Cleveland and in Chillicothe, where he lived. I went to visit my father several times, and my mother was a staunch advocate for him, patient advocate for him. And just the time that I spent there, I noticed how hours would go by and no one would come in and give my father water, something as simple as making sure that he was hydrated properly. So when you look at a nursing facility that has one nurse to 50 patients, it's literally impossible for that patient to get the medical attention that they deserve. So I can see how patients get neglected in the process. So those who are listening and those who are watching, I just want you to understand how important it is to change this dynamic. I can also surmise that one of the issues for proper staffing is the personnel expense, because if a nursing facility has a certain number of nurses and then they're required to acquire another number, it means that they're going to have to spend money, and that might cut into their profit. So I can see how this could be a touchy issue for nursing facilities who don't necessarily want to spend the money and are able to get by. Could you give me your thoughts on what I just shared with you?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, Vince, because I didn't realize how expensive the facilities was until we had a situation with our insurance where they decided not to pay 2 months of insurance, and they sent me a bill for $44,000 for 2 months, and that's when my antennas went up. I said, you're charging that kind of money, and we can't get this service. And then I did do research, and just think about this for a moment. A facility that has 250 beds, and just say the average is $10,000 a month per person. Um, when you look at all that, you got to say it's already there. The funds are already there, and if we don't do nothing, it's going to continue to get worse because some facilities are closing now. And we have a situation where we're living longer, and a lot of people are going to need this service. We don't have a fix for 100% of everything, but we have to build a new foundation. And what you experience is what a lot of people have experienced, and we get calls. The folks that are aware of Carolyn's Law, they call us and they ask for help. And normally, what we do is refer them to the ombudsman to get involved because that is one source. But that's gets into a legal situation, and I don't want to get out of my lane when it comes to legality. That's where our attorneys come in. But you're right. That is an issue where when you're sitting there and you press the light, the bell for someone to come and they don't show up for 25, 30 minutes, they just can't do it. It's just impossible to take care of that many people in a 12-hour shift or an 8-hour shift.
Mm-hmm.
And I have two choices. I could go and sit in my rocking chair and enjoy my 10 grandchildren and don't do anything. But I know what's going on here and I can't do that. I have to do this. I promised my wife that something would be done, and those nurses and nurse aides, because there's some people that's really, really serious and they're trying to do their job, but it's impossible. So what do we do?
Yes. So, are there any organizations or entities that understand the cause that you are representing and joining with you to advocate and assist in collecting these signatures so that this can get placed on the ballot?
Well, we have tried to get involved with we've contacted several agencies, and at this point, we're still waiting for their response on how they're going to handle this. I really don't want to start naming entities that we talk to because we need to give them a chance to respond.
Okay.
But that's where we are now. We're moving to a larger audience, and the National Association of Nursing. Um, we would be glad to have Medicare and Medicaid get involved. AARP, those are facilities that we all are aware of. But and they have been contacted. There's
Okay.
others, but I won't go into that right now.
Okay. And I guess the other elephant in the room is just the nature of Ohio's 88 states.
I
We
mean,
have
um,
concentrations of us in urban areas, but then you come to some of these other counties in the state and you don't find many of us. And I just wonder how receptive some of those other counties might be when a brother comes in and says, "Hey, this is what happened. This is what we need to do." How are you being received outside of our urban areas in the state?
I'm glad you said that because, I mean, let's keep it real. You go in some areas, like you say, it's not that many of us. But I'm going to use one example. Um, we established a booth at a county fair in Coshocton. Now, I had never been in Coshocton, and all I heard about Coshocton was you better be careful when you go in those areas. But I'm going to tell you, Vince, the Lord is good. When we went into Coshocton, those people received us with open arms because they understand that they've had the same problem and the same issue. And this is not about whether you're a Republican, Democrat, or independent. This is a people issue.
mhm.
And what really touched my heart is one gentleman came up to us and he opened his house. He said that he was I forgot the organization he was in. It escapes my mind right now, but he said all my children are grown. We have this 4-bedroom house. You all are welcome to come to our home. But we had already made reservations with hotels and things of that nature. And while we were at um, Bob Evans one morning having breakfast, and as they brought our breakfast to us, and we had a word of prayer over the food, and this is touchy, man. And then when we got finished, and we called the little waitress over to give us our, you know, bill, she says already been paid.
Mhm.
She said that someone paid for our breakfast. And that particular day, we had not only ordered breakfast, but we had ordered lunch too.
Mm,
Because once we went to the booth, we were going to be there for the day. And I'm like, everything that I was told about what to expect wasn't true. We went down in a county, Brown County, down there almost by the Ohio River. People say, you better be careful when you go down there. I said, look, we're going. And the same results. People just about everywhere we went was very, they stopped and prayed with us to have this happen. Thanked us for doing it. Now, obviously, you're always gonna have one or two that's gonna come in and say some crazy stuff, but you don't pay that no attention because a lot of times, you don't know whether a person has a mental problem or what. But the reception has been good for the most part.
Mhm.
And that's why I personally took funds from my retirement to do this because, you know, that gave me confidence and spirit when you talk to people and they tell you, please do this for us. And they didn't care about who I was or my complexion. And that's why I know, Jesus, that's why I know we're doing the right thing. The problem is, I don't have um, a system like what I just experienced from Chicago with the DNC. You know, that kind of organization. That's what we're working on now to take it to a higher level.
Okay. So, talk to us about how you can be assisted in your mission. If you wanted to make a pledge to those who are listening, or those who are listening who know someone who might want to get involved, how can people get involved in your effort?
You broke up a little bit, Vince. Could you repeat that, please?
I'm just I'm asking you to share with us how people can get involved and assist you in your mission.
Okay. Well, the first thing I would say to anyone is go to our website, and that's carolinslaw.org. That's CarolynSlaw, all one word, .org. That will give you a basic idea of what we're doing. You can uh, participate by donating. You can contact us and let us know that you want to get involved, and we will come to you and assist you with whatever you need, because we have kits and we have a system set up for those who want to participate, to get involved. We have that. Or you could simply email us at petition@carolinslaw.org. That's PETITION at CarolynSlaw.org. Petition at Carolyn's Law. So you have www.carolinslaw.org for the website, the petition for the email, and my personal cell phone number is open to the public to call. And we do get calls uh, personally, 216 701 2300. Now, um, the local office here is at 17027 Libby Road, Suite number 2, in Maple Heights, Ohio, 44137. The business telephone number is 216 825 3900. That's 216 825 3900. So those are the ways they can get in touch with us, and we will follow up. And you can donate online. It's through a protected service of PayPal, and let's just all get involved, because it's about all of us.
Okay. Well, we're going to share the information that you just gave us in the description for this video on YouTube. And it's just another reminder that those who are listening in the radio audience, you can go to YouTube and check out our channels, get more information, the telephone numbers, website addresses, and all of that, as well as revisit the show. There may be something about this show that resonated with you that you need to review. You'll be able to go to our websites. Mine is Vince Robinson. Brother Hamtonio's is The Journey with Hamtonio on YouTube. You can also get this information and find this show on our Facebook page, which is 360 Info Network. And we also have a website, 360info network.net. You'll be able to take advantage of all those resources and get the information that you need. Brother Jesse, is there anything else that you would like to share with us before we conclude the segment? Or Brother Hamtonio, is there something that you wanted to
Spread
chime
the
in with?
word.
Oh, definitely.
Okay. Brother Hamtonio?
Yes, yeah, because I don't want him to sign off yet before I get a chance to say a few things too. One, I don't know the proper procedure in doing something, and I know been involved in seeing people dealing with petitions and trying to get it on the ballot, things of that nature. So my question is that, as far as politicians is concerned, getting certain politicians to take this under their wing, would that eliminate some of the legwork that you're doing? And can't they? I don't know if they can just draw up this particular bill or law or whatever and present it, in our state and make it happen from that point. And if so, if it does work that way, then it seems like we should be lobbying some of our politicians. Secondly, um, it seems it's just amazing to me because I've experienced the same thing. My brother was going through some things, and I experienced the same thing. And a friend of mine was way in California talking about the same thing. So this problem is happening all over the country, and we should also see and know that we're in this baby boom era. You're gonna have, and I'm saying to our listeners now, if you're not confronted with this problem now, you're going to be confronted with it later on for sure. Because you get, we in this age and stage of baby boomers right now. So we in this, that age bracket to where these different problems and ailments is starting to come upon us. So you're going to have a large block of people dealing with this stuff, or maybe having to visit some type of facility in the near future. So my question and my statement is that it's just weird to me that folks who are in power as far as legislation and is concerned, not having the vision to know that this is taking place, and we need to do something about it. To me, again, I'm gonna bring it back home into an Afrocentric point of view. I got to see, and talk about that as well as us as a society in dealing with how we deal with our elderly, our folks that are in sickness and things of that nature. We're not, in this so-called high-tech society, civilization that we're not doing a good job of it. We're not doing a good job of it at all. And culturally, what would happen in a situation like that, we would take some of our we would establish institutions that would start training people in order to fill that void. You know what I mean? You when you have a cultural society and you're lacking something, like I've said before, what Dr. Amos Wilson said, if we don't train our kids to fix our problems of the day, then what are we ever going to fix this problem? We just going around in circles. So we should be, and we should have had the foresight already to see this type of thing coming and start training individuals that geared towards providing some lucrative for them field of train of study for them to get into to fix this particular problem. So I question again the morals of our country and our society when we dealing with this problem. Brother Ruffin, Brother Vince, myself, we shouldn't have to go through this particular situation. It's stressful. It's, and then now, you get a chance to see and hear the other side and dealing with the worker. They, their hands is tied. They trying to do what they could and can do, but they get a bitter taste in their mouth and they get a little resentment on the job because of how the situations is set up. They're shorthand. They can't take care of everything. So this particular problem should be addressed, and our politicians should be leading the charge for making this happen. Now, I don't know if that's the prerequisite is getting the people together to do something to put some fire upon this, but it shouldn't have to. It shouldn't have to. This should be an obvious situation. With and I'm gonna say this in close. They were talking globally about a reset. I think they don't slip the reset on us already because so many things in this country is not the same since we come out of COVID, man. Everything is failing us. Everything is it's just topsy-turvy at this particular point. So they might have slipped a reset on us, and we didn't even recognize that this is going to be the norm from this point in time. So anyway, that's my comments on the matter. It just proves to me and validates to me again that we are missing some serious grounding and some morality here in this particular country compared to other cultures, how they take care of their elderly and their sick. It just don't make any sense for supposedly the best country on the planet. I don't get it.
You hit it dead on the nail. Couldn't have been said any better. But I would be remiss if I didn't mention State Representative Daniel Troy. We met him at the State House when they had what they call the Million Nurse March. We had a booth at there, and we met him, and he got involved, and he is involved. And he also did mention the fact that we could allow it to go through the legislative standpoint, and he understood the fact that at each and every General Assembly it could be modified.
Okay.
And he was honest, and he was straight up for it, and he's a good man. Senator Kenny Yoko, he's not the senator anymore, but he was my senator. He came to my office and sat down with us and gave us some very good advice, being that he know it was a constitutional amendment. Had things been different and we were able to get some individuals that are in the legislative arena involved, now that I know what I know, we probably would have went that way. But once you go to people and ask for help and you don't get it, see, I'm a real estate broker, and I've been in real estate for 45 years, self-employed. And I don't have a problem with doing things, getting involved. Okay. And so after seeing the need and not being able to get people at that time, we just moved forward with what we were advised by our legal team. And it made sense because the bottom line is, and I'm going to be real, I got to keep it real. Sometimes you get involved with these political arenas, and somebody might say, "Well, I'll go along with it if you put a bridge in my area of where my people are, or I'll do this if you want to put, who knows, marijuana in it." I don't know. We didn't want none of that. This is a matter strictly for the people, for our seniors, and not only seniors go in nursing homes,
That's right. That's right.
We have children, I'll be on September 4th, I'll be 71 years old. I could end up in a nursing home, but my daughter is a registered nurse, and she is my health power of attorney. And I told her, if this hasn't passed by the time I have to go, keep me at home. Well, because real quick, I would rather stay at home.
Yeah. Real quick, brother. What kind of feedback are you getting from our churches?
That was a long side, bro. That was a long side.
I mean, they should be on board, like,
Lord help me. I want to say this. I have went to several church organizations. I don't know, maybe it's my presentation. I don't know. I don't know, but there have been several churches that have invited us to come and get signatures from their members. St. Paul AME out in on the east side here off 130th, West 130th, they received us beautifully. And we were able to get signatures just about from every member that was registered to vote because of the pastor. He was the one that he met us at one of our county fairs, and he asked us to come to his church. Those are far and few in between. I don't know the reason, and I don't want to say nothing without having fact. But it would be a beautiful thing if the churches would get involved with their membership in all 88 counties. That would be a blessing. Now,
Have you
I'm not going to
thought
blame
of having?
anybody. Pardon me?
I was just going to ask if you had any thoughts about contacting the organizations that have pastors involved in their membership. I know that there are some concerned pastors, they're united in mission, and they galvanize sometimes around civil rights issues and different political issues. Have you reached out to them, and if so, what has the response been?
Well, I did reach out to this. I think I don't want to tell a lie, but it's a Cleveland Pastors Association. They're out on Monticello. I don't have that information in front of me, so I can't give the names out. But I did contact them, and they showed interest in this. But when COVID came, into the country, they did tell me that they had to focus on trying to get their members and people to get vaccinated. So that became a priority. And after that, well, I take the blame. I haven't really pursued it like I should or could to go back to them. But that would be a beautiful thing if we could get those involved, the churches involved as a wide, statewide unity.
I'm doing this right. I'm saying this right now for as far as our listeners is concerned. You guys are connected to different people and different organizations. If you are, reach out to some of your organizations and see if you can contact Brother Ruffin. He's gonna give you some information. And so you can invite him in order to get these signatures. It don't hurt to sign a good petition for something. There ain't nobody asking you for no money. You know what I mean? So it's just a signature. So organize some groups, because I'm already formulating some things in my mind, of doing it, because this is not just a local or state or Ohio problem. This is a problem across the country, that we are looking at now. In order for clarity for me that I need to understand is this, so I know, far as being for the facilities to adhere to that, so they would just have to hire more STNAs or whatever to that nature. Is it anything that you be reaching out, or maybe with the politicians that would have to give some subsidies to some of these facilities, or to open, or to help with some training, or is that just an opportunity for an entrepreneur to, if this law was to pass, to open up training facilities, in order to fill that void? Which way would, how would we deal with that?
Well, that's an excellent observation. In our petition, it does have instructions on training and things of that nature. The whole idea is that, first of all, we're saving lives. That's the first thing. And we're trying to eliminate casualties. that within itself is going to save money, and it obviously helps. We have to have a foundation, my brothers, to start from, with a proper nurse patient ratios on a playing field, even playing field, all facilities on the same playing field.
Mm-hmm.
That's the beginning of what we need to do. The funds, once this become a constitutional amendment to the Constitution of the state of Ohio, actually the state has an opportunity to go to the federal government to get funds and ask for funds to assist in this, because I don't have a problem with helping someone, another country, or anybody in need. But when we send billions of dollars over to other countries,
Mm-hmm.
and here we have the people that we're standing on their shoulders, our senior citizens, we're standing on their shoulders who brought this country to where we are now. We're spending billions of dollars over there. And then you're going to tell me we don't have enough money to do this?
Mm-hmm.
Something's wrong with that picture.
Yeah.
Agree.
Well, brother Jesse, I have to put on my conspiracy theorist hat right now, and I know it's not a popular term, but we're in the midst of a global agenda that involves depopulation, and at the same time, we have an aging population in our country. And when we look back at what happened during the COVID era
Mm-hmm.
and how our seniors were placed in isolation, the other thing that I'm thinking about, and I know time is winding down on us, but just the money part of it. If you want to understand anything, follow the money. Those nurses, I'm sure they would be ecstatic if you said to them in one day, you have to serve 50 patients, but we're going to reduce that to 8. We're going to reduce that to 5. They'd be happy about that,
Mm-hmm.
So this is not just a local issue. This is not just a Cuyahoga County issue. This is a national issue. This
Mm-hmm.
is something that they should have been talking about at the convention a few days ago. But these kinds of things just they escape the radar, and all the focus is placed on demonizing a particular candidate while all the other issues are on the way, or they're on the sideline. They have to take a back seat to the things that are really issues. We can get involved in hate mongering and talking about this person who's lied to us, so forth and so on. But then
Mm-hmm.
on the other hand, every 4 years they tell us what they're going to do for us, and then we come back 4 years and they're telling us the same thing, and almost nothing has changed. So I just want to applaud you, Brother Ruffin, for taking the initiative to take up this very important issue, and wish you success. Wish us success in addressing this issue. I think Brother Hamptonio has a great idea about reaching out to certain people, and I think you wanted to take advantage of the timing right now, because we've been through one pandemic, and they're predicting another pandemic in the very near future. So time is of the essence. Get to those folks that you need to get to before the time clock runs out. I'll just put it in those terms. Brother Ruffin, it's been an extreme pleasure to have you on today. I hope that people take this broadcast seriously, and that they take up what they can do to assist you in your mission. So thanks for joining us.
Well, Vince, I really thank you, and I appreciate you for allowing me to have this platform on your program. And it's a true blessing that you're doing this, and I thank you. And our
All right.
committee thank you, because this is what we need to do.
Okay. All right. Well, once again, thanks for joining us. And just a few reminders to the audience. We say this week in and week out, but it's so important for us to get the support that we need on social media. So you can join us on my YouTube channel. You can join us on Brother Lynn's YouTube channel. Go to our Facebook pages, like and subscribe. We're going to definitely share the website for the Carolyn's Law petition, so you'll be able to go there and get that information. And we can move this ball forward so that we can make a difference in the lives of people, not only just here in Cleveland, but around the world. Brother Lynn, we got about 25 seconds. Anything real quick?
No, I don't have anything. It was good.
All right. So at this time, I'll just thank our engineer, Tone Harley. He stuck with us. You know, last week we had a difficult time because of some issues that happened on my end of things. Today, those things were resolved. We had a great broadcast. We'd like to thank you for joining us. And as always, know yourself, love yourself, be yourself, make today your best day. Peace.
Peace.